well. Lancelot as well as Rajesh, thank you so much for joining in with us this morning, Saturday morning. Hope you all are having a good morning as well. But let's start then with the first query. And the first query I'm going to start with is Lancelot. This is for you. It's coming from Bisaka from Kolkata. They're a long-term investor. Two stocks they want to know about. One is Bharat Dynamics, which they bought at 880 rupees. The other one is Ineos Strio. I don't know if you track it, but yeah, that's at around 1092. What should they be doing or book profits here?
Well, I think as far as biodynamic is concerned, the long-term outlook is still good. And with the growth in the economy, especially capital goods and in the engineering space, you are seeing some traction as far as demand from in that segment. So Bharat Dynamics will perform. So if you're a long-term investor, you can continue to hold because earnings growth will be driven by growth on sales as well as from profitability. As far as Ineos ABS, it is basically a plastic component manufacturing company, and that industry is also doing well. Auto numbers came out. We saw good growth in autos in the last couple of months. We are seeing improvement in the auto sector. So for this company being a supplier, major supplier to that industry, you should see significant traction going forward. The only thing is that in the Ineos, the valuations have moved up quite significantly over the last, 6, 8 months. And with that, it does feel a little bit stretched. So adding more would not be a good idea at this levels, but whatever you're holding, you can hold it for the longer term. There will be higher growth coming in over time.
Well, it seems that a lot of investors from Kolkata are quite active. Pradeep from Kolkata as well. He's a senior citizen and a long-term investor with 1 to 2 years view. Has around 100 shares of Kalyan Jewellers bought at a price of 106 and 50 shares of NDR Auto Components bought at a price of 290. He's asking Lancelot whether he should hold these shares for long-term or should he book profits in this counter and move to Bank of India.
So I think, while these can be, you can look at doing profit booking if that is forming part of your overall objective. But what one can also look at considering is that when you're doing profit booking, I think rather than getting into Bank of India, which has been highly priced at the moment, given the huge run up in the stock, most of the positives already been priced in. There could be other better stocks to look at. Maybe something like an HDFC Bank at this particular price point seems an attractive proposition with risk to return being favorable.
Rajesh, good morning. The first query is on Dwarikesh Sugar, and this one is from a viewer who's Anand from Bangalore. They're holding 1,000 shares at an average price of 102 rupees of Dwarikesh Sugar. Should they average out a bit more, hold or sell? What's the view on this one?
So stock is in downtrend, and if we look at the short to medium term perspective, also stock is moving in down sloping channel on a weekly chart. That clearly shows that there is a sustained supply pressure is taking place in this stock. Looking at the overall structure, we believe that until the stock not manages to cross above 90 level, it may remain in downtrend only. And on the lower side, we may see a further more corrective move towards 65 kind of level also, as the stock is now slipped below to its 20-day, 50-day as well as 100-day moving after. That clearly shows that there is a weakness on the short to medium term perspective on the stock. So I think at this moment, wait for average out. Don't average at this moment because looking at the near term, short term structure, we believe some more corrective move is likely to be there in the stock prices. So wait for another corrective move towards 70 or 65 kind of zone, where again one can he should review the structure, and if it's take supports around those level, then he may think to average out the stock at lower price.
Well, the next query is from Sudarshana from Bangalore, and she's saying that she's willing to invest in the EMS stocks, but considering the high valuations, she's worried about whether it's a good time to enter the stocks like Dixon, Keynes, and CG Power. While CG Power might not completely be an EMS company, but Lancelot, how do you see these companies from long-term investment horizon perspective? Are valuations too high, and is it a good time to entry?
Well, I think valuations are high at this point in time, and so there needs to be some kind of a correction to give you a good entry point, because typically when you invest at high valuation, the returns are going to be relatively muted because you are already factored in the next 2 3 years earnings, and plus any kind of negative surprise in terms of earnings slowdown or any kind of movement on the performance of the company can immediately impact the stock on the downside. So one should be relatively cautious and maybe wait for a correction of 10 to 15% before looking at these stocks.
Rajesh, this next query is from Sayak from Bangalore. They want to know on Pesalo Digital, is it a good time to enter this stock for a time period of around 12 to 18 months is the max they want to hold this? So would you advise it to enter at these levels?
So if we analyze the overall structure, long-term structure is bullish. Stock is enjoying its all-time high trajectory. The kind of buying momentum which we are seeing even at this all-time high, that clearly shows that there is a lot of interest in the stock at this moment also. So overall structure is on the bullish side. So I think if he can hold the position for long-term perspective also, yes, he may hold the position. But yes, trailing the stop loss should be the right strategy to ride the rally of this stock. So I think at this moment, 170 should be your stop loss. And looking at the near-term, short-term structure, we believe that this momentum can exceed further towards 230 to 240 kind of level. So I think keep riding the stop loss at higher price and enjoy this rally, because overall structure is on the bullish side, and we believe that going forward also we can see a good traction towards higher side for this stock. So Pesalo Digital is looking promising across all time frame.
Well, the next query is from Jaikant from Mumbai, and he has around 2,000 shares of Avental bought at a price of 119 last month. He's asking whether he should continue to hold or continue to hold this counter, and could there be an upside from current levels? Rajesh, have you looked at this counter?
Can you repeat the name of stock?
It's Avental, Avantel.
Okay. I'm not able to find this stock.
Lancelot, do you have any idea about this stock? I believe it's an EMS company.
Avantel, you were saying?
Yes,
Lancelot, I
Avental.
believe you are on mute.
Okay. Aventel.
Yeah, right.
No, I haven't really looked at it in.
Lancelot, I think you're still on mute. We cannot hear you. Lancelot, do you have a view on Avantel then?
No, I don't have any view because I don't track stock.
Okay,
So I
sure.
have no view.
Okay, then let's move on to the next query, because Lancelot, then let me come to you. This one is on L&T. We have a viewer from Bangalore, Srinivasan, who's holding 300 shares of L&T at a price of 1,850. Should they continue to hold this or book profits? They are a long-term investor. When you look at it, already doubled in terms of that. But what's the view on this, Lancelot, L&T?
Even though the price has doubled, I think the view is very solid. You have seen
I'm
addition
taking
of
PG funds.
L&T's order book this quarter. For the last quarter has been very strong. With the government also announcing several large infrastructure projects and themes, I think L&T is poised to get a larger share of these projects, and even globally they have been bidding and obtaining new projects. So I think one should continue to remain invested. The stock still has significant upside to offer, and you will see that play out over the next 2 to 3 years.
The next query is from Prakesh Jadwani, and he's from Vadodara, and it's on PG foils. Rajesh, he wants to buy around 10,000 shares of this counter. Technically, how is the stock looking like currently?
The stock name is PG.
PG foils.
I think this stock is also not available in NSE. So let me check this on BSE. Okay. So looking at the overall structure, stock is in uptrend. If we analyze the 6-month time frame, some recovery is taking place. Though there was some corrective move, stock is showing some amount of recovery from its recent low. Now near-term structure is suggesting that if stocks holds above 180 kind of level, then some possible pullback action we can see towards 220 to 230 kind of level. So he should now keep stop loss at 180 kind of zone, and on the higher side 220 230 is the level where again stock may face some supply pressure on the higher side. So where again, one should review it. If it's surpassed 230 level, then possible really can extend, and then we can see target towards 260 also. At this moment, 180 should be your stop loss to hold the position.
Okay, keep an eye on those levels over there. But on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. So do stay tuned and keep sending us your queries. We'll be taking more of that after the break. Welcome back, and you're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now, a show where we solve all your stock related queries with the experts. And experts for today are Rajesh as well as Lancer joining in with us. Thank you so much for waiting by with us, gentlemen. And this next query we have is on Federal Bank. And now Anjana from Kolkata has invested in Federal Bank 300 shares at a price of 152, as well as Canara Bank also for she's invested at a price of 463. What's the view on this, Lancer? Should they continue to hold both these stocks, or maybe look to buy something like an HDFC Bank and Kotak after selling this?
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. What happens is that these stocks have run up, and if you've made money, it is time to book profits on these stocks. And stocks which are relatively undervalued or which are undervalued in the market, like HDFC and Kotak, could be opportunities to invest in at this point in time, and benefit from the upside. When the performances are improved and we see the market re-rating them at that time.
Well, the next query is from Ramki Delhi, and it's for you, Rajesh. It's on three stocks: Ujjivan Finance, L&T Foods, and Route Mobile. What's your view on all these three counters?
So Ujjivan is consolidating. Looking at the near-term, short-term structure, stock is struggling to cross its major supply zone, which is at around 580 mark. Until the stock not crosses those level, it may remain under consolidation only. On the downside, the major support area, which is almost coincide with its 200-day moving average, that is placed at around 500 kind of zone. So I think it may take time to recover as the near-term, short-term structure is in the consolidation phase. Once stock crosses above 600 mark, yes, we can see a continuation of this up move, and then possible target on the higher side we can see towards 640 to 650. So that stock he can hold at this moment, as overall structure is bullish, but some consolidation is taking place in the stock. The second stock, as you mentioned, that is L&T Finance, right? Okay, so L&T Finance is in uptrend. Stock is in moving in upsloping channel on the monthly chart. That clearly shows stock is
It's
showing
L&T
sustained
Foods.
buying action.
LT Foods actually.
And looking at the structure for L&T Finance.
Rajesh, the stock was LT Foods, and the last one was Route Mobile.
Oh, okay. Okay. So LT Food is under corrective move since last 3-4 months. Stock is making lower high low formation, and looking at the near term short term structure, we believe that some more or down move we can see towards 160 kind of level. That is the major support area on the monthly chart. So I think one should wait for buying this stock at current juncture, because looking at the near term short term structure, we believe some more corrective move is likely to be there in the stock price. So possible corrective move in LT Food we can see towards 160. Avoid at this moment. On the higher side, 200 is the major supply zone at this moment.
Okay. The next query is from Pramod from Dubai, and Lancer, this one is for you. They're holding Adore Welding as well as MSTC. A long-term investor, what's the view on both these stocks?
Well, I think Adore Welding has been doing well in the past, but again, stock has moved up quite a bit. So I think one should, if you're holding a larger quantity, it's better to book some profit. And the other stock was, what was the name you said?
Adore Welding and MSTC.
MSTC, yes. MSTC, I think, is in a good space at the moment. Global commodity prices have come down. The performance for the last couple of quarters has been improving. So you are seeing margin improvement and sales volume growth. But if you look at the stock performance, it has more than doubled over the last year, and given that background, one should wait for a while before adding to the stock. Or if you want to book profits, it's a good time to book some profit.
Well, the next query is from Mohan from Hyderabad, and he's holding shares of Eicher Motors. He hasn't mentioned the quantity or the price, but he wants to know whether is it worth holding this counter for the next 2 years. Lancelot, what would be your view here?
Next 2 years, Eicher Motors should be one of the major beneficiaries of the premiumization trend that we are seeing. And we expect that, Eicher Motors growth should sort of improve going forward. Valuations have been relatively stable because, the stock had corrected from its highs and now it's consolidating a bit. So one should continue to hold it for the next 2 years.
Okay, Rajesh, this one is for you. CMS Info Systems, Prayash is holding 2,000 shares at a price of 402. What should they be doing with this?
I think overall structure is bullish and stock is now penetrating to its multiple supply zone. Looking at the near-term, short-term structure, we believe that once stock crosses above 410 kind of mark, then possible we can see a good amount of rally in this stock as overall structure is on the bullish side. Possible target on the higher side of on the breakout above 410, we can see towards 460 to 470 kind of zone. So I think he should hold the position. Keep stop loss at around 385. We believe that sooner or later we may see a breakout above 410, and then the stock can rally towards 460 to 470 also.
The next query is from Udit, and it's on Lloyd's Engineering. He has purchased around 200 shares at a price of around 59.75. Should he continue to hold? Rajesh, what's your view here? Personally, I feel that this stock has struggled to cross the 60 mark, right?
Yeah, definitely. So stock is still struggling to cross those level. But looking at the overall structure, stock is making higher top, higher bottom formation. That clearly shows that there is sustained buying is taking place. Looking at the short to medium term perspective, stock is holding above to all its important moving averages. So view is bullish. Once stock crosses above 60, 61 kind of level, then yes, possible really we can see towards 68 to 75 kind of zone also in Lloyd Engineering. So I think our view is on the bullish side. Keep your stop loss at 54 to hold your long positions.
Okay, the next query is on Asian Paints. Lancelot, everyone who has that doubt, after Grasim has come into the paint segment, they've made those launches as well in the recent time. Asian Paints, how does that look for the long term? Ria from Mumbai wants to know.
And I think it is a contrarian bet. And actually, if you've been an investor in Asian Paints over the last so many years, you've seen, various people come in. But Asian Paints has always been an innovative company and has moved into new areas. So I would actually go and say this is an opportunity to buy into the stock. If you look at the past, we've had maybe a year or two back, there was JSW entering the paint industry, and again the stock had sold off. But you have seen the company grow its profits. I think the new business areas which it has moved into, which is the home decoration business, the interior business, those will provide significant upsides. And Asian Paints, being a leader in the decorative paint segment, will continue to dominate that segment. So I shouldn't see too much of an impact. Maybe every fall is giving you an opportunity to accumulate. This company will outperform over the next 3 to 5 years.
The next query is from Anand, and it's on Bandhan Bank. He's holding the price shares at an average price of 270. Rajesh, do you see any upside in the near term for Bandhan Bank?
The stock is underperforming, though most of the banking stocks have done well in last couple of weeks. But still, we see pressure is there in Bandhan Bank prices. Looking at the near-term structure, stock is now trading near to its very critical support area of 200 kind of level. If it breaks below with the volume action, then possible down move we can see towards 185 also. So as such, structure is on the weaker side. I think one should avoid at this moment until the stock not crosses above 215. That's the immediate resistance area on the near-term structure. If it stocks crosses about 200 and 215 kind of level on a weekly closing basis, then we may see some short covering action in the stock, and then stock can show some pullback towards 240 kind of level also. But at this moment, our advice would be to avoid the stock, as still there is no sign of recovery on the near term as well as on the short term structure.
Rajesh, for that. And before we address more investor queries, let's slip into a short break.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Let's keep it going with those stock-related queries. Rajesh, this one is from Rebecca from Kolkata. It's on NIIT. They have 50 shares at a price of 134 rupees per share. And Suntec Realty also, 484 shares. I beg your pardon. They've not mentioned the amount of shares, but they're holding it at a price of 484 rupees. So what should they be doing with both these stocks? NIIT as well as Suntec, continue to hold, sell or add?
So I think NIIT is still consolidating. If we analyze the short to medium term perspective, stock is facing the supply pressure around 140 kind of zone. So until the stock not manages to cross above 140 kind of level, it may remain under consolidation. On the downside, 118, 120 is the immediate support area on the stock for the downside trajectory. So 118 to 140 is the consolidation range. Once stock crosses above 140, yes, possible upside we can see towards 165 to 170 also on a positional basis. So if he can hold the position for a little longer period, yes, he can remain invested as overall structure is on the bullish side. But some consolidation is likely to be there for some couple of weeks. Once stock crosses 140, there could be another good rally we can see in very short period of time. So hold the position in NIIT Limited with stop loss of 115. If we analyze the Suntec Realty, if we look at the near-term, short-term structure, stock is moving in upsloping channel on a weekly chart. That clearly shows that some recovery is taking place in the stock. Though the purchase price is almost closer to the current market price, looking at the near-term structure, we believe that if stocks holds above 460 kind of level on a weekly closing basis, then there is a high possibility that stock may attempt to give breakout above 485, 490 zone. And once this breakout takes place, then possible rally we can see towards 520, 530 kind of zone also. So hold the position with stop loss of 460 in Suntec Realty also.
The next query is from Srini and it's for you, Lancelot. He wants to know your view on metal stocks, specifically Tata Steel and NMDC.
Well, metal stocks have actually entered a long-term, let's say bull phase for a while. However, if you take Tata Steel specifically, you see Tata Steel is no longer purely a domestic demand steel company. It has a European operations, which has been a drag on its profitability. There have been news reports that they're trying to resolve the issues and maybe reduce the losses over the next 2-3 quarters. But it is a difficult task at this point in time, so one has to see how it plays out. So given Tata Steel one needs to look at it more from a shorter term or maybe a trading perspective rather than maybe a long term bull company potential. So you have to look at maybe when it is overvalued, try to book profits, and maybe when the steel cycle is at its lows, then really add on to it. NMDC, I think, is one of the better companies of the public sector entities, which has a dominant position in the mineral space in India. And one can look at accumulating this company, but the stock has rallied significantly in the last 6-8 months. So you have to wait for declines to accumulate this stock. But it's long term, it's a good potential to hold on as well.
Rajesh, we have Sarath Kumar from Hyderabad who has purchased 5,400 shares of Rama Steel at a price of 42 rupees per share. What would you suggest they should do with this?
So since last couple of months, stock is struggling to cross 50 kind of level. That is the major supply zone since last couple of months. Until the stock not crosses above those level, some more consolidation is likely to be there in Rama Steel. On the downside, 38 is the immediate support area on the stock. As the stock has already moving in very narrow price range since last couple of months, we believe that sooner or later stock may attempt to give breakout above 48 or 50 kind of level. Once this breakout happens, then possible upside target we can see towards 65 to 70 also on a positional perspective. So his view is for holding the stock for a little longer period, more than 6 months to 1 year kind of time frame, then he can remain invested. on the downside, he can keep stop loss at around 38 rupees. If it breaks below those levels, then exit, else hold the position. And once stock crosses above 48, possible target we can see towards 65 to 70 also.
Well, the next query is from Dhriti Ahuja, and it's on the hospital stocks. Now, she's holding Max Healthcare and Global Health, which is Medanta. And despite the fall that we have seen in these hospital stocks for the last couple of days, there's still some profit left for her on the table. So, Lancelot, she wants to know whether should she continue to hold these counters or sell them because of the news that has come in, or buy them at these lower levels again.
But I think one can look at booking profits because you are in profit at this point in time. And many of these are mostly cyclical stocks, and you will see some correction coming in, as commodity prices ease up a bit. So given that background, one should look at booking profits, especially in the commodity-based stocks.
Rajesh, we have Sri Krishna from Hyderabad who is holding 200 shares of Sasta Sundar Ventures at a price of 400 rupees per share. What should they be doing with this? Should they continue to hold or maybe look to sell or average?
I think averaging is not advisable at this moment as stock is making lower top, lower bottom formation on a daily as well as on the weekly time frame. That clearly shows that some more pressure likely to be there in the near term perspective also. The lower side major support area is placed at around 325. So I think this corrective move can extend further till 325 level also. So I think wait for average out. If he can book the losses, then I think looking at the near-term, short-term structure, we are not in opinion to hold the position as stock structure seems to be on the weaker side, and possible corrective move is likely to be there. So 310.25 could be the next lower level stock may see in the near-term to short-term perspective. The major supply zone on the higher side is placed at around 385-400 zone. Until the stock not crosses above those level, whatever pullback is going to be there in stock prices will meet to the supply pressure on higher side. So I think exit would be the right strategy in the stock. If any pullback you get around 385, try to exit from this stock.
Well, the next query is from Sanjeev Sinha from Lucknow, and he's a long-term investor, and he wants to know whether at current prices, based on the fundamentals, is it a good time to invest in Tata Motors and Tata Power? Lancelot, what would be your view here?
Well, I think Tata Motors, has rallied significantly, and there has been a lot of hope or anticipation of its listing of potentially the electric vehicle business. So given that we've already seen prices run up, if you are already holding the stock, one can continue to hold it. But at this price point, I think entry into the stock is a bit risky. So one should wait for a correction to add. As far as Tata Power is concerned, it has been in a very strong, let's say, seen strong profit growth with the changes that have taken place, in the environment for power companies. You are seeing consistent growth coming in, as well as its renewable energy business has taken off in a big way, and the valuations of that business continue to grow. So I think Tata Power one can even accumulate even at the current levels and add to your portfolio.
Okay, this next query is from Girish Iyer from Trivandrum, and Rajesh, they are holding Zensar Tech at a price of 587 and Devyani International at a price of 172. Now they're making a loss in both. What should they do? Should they substitute it with some other stock or continue to hold both these stocks?
So I think Zensa Tech he can hold as some recovery is taking place, and stock is now trading almost near to its 20-day moving average and just managed to cross those level. So I think if stocks continues to hold above 530 mark, then possible pullback action we can see towards 575 to 580 kind of zone. And then going forward, if it crosses 580, then possible rally can extend also, as some recovery is taking place, some buying action is there at the lower prices. So I think he can hold Zensa Tech with stop loss of 525. Some recovery we can see in the near term perspective. But yes, Devyani International he can exit, as overall structure is looking weak. If you analyze the weekly monthly structure, stock is in downtrend. Stock is slipped below to all its long term short term moving averages. And looking at the near term short term structure, stock is now trading near to its critical support area of 149, and if it breaks those level, then we can see furthermore supply pressure, and then possible lower side target we can see towards 135 to 130 kind of zone also. So I think Devyani he can exit as structure is still on the weaker side, and there is no recovery is taking place in recent past, and we believe that furthermore supply is likely to be there. So I think if he wants to shift, so I think Zomato he can look to buy from if he can take exit from Devyani, he can look to buy Zomato. Very strong buying action is taking place in stock, and stock is in uptrend. Series of high top, high bottom formation is taking place. In last couple of months, very strong rally is already taken place. But looking at the overall structure, we believe that Zomato can be a stock where we can see a target towards 200, 220 going forward. So on a positional perspective, Zomato is looking better compared to Devyani, and exit from those that stock and buy Zomato. Keep your stop loss around 155 to buy Zomato.
The next query is from Najib from Qatar, and he's holding around 150 shares of HDFC Life bought at a price of 563 rupees. Lancelot, he wants to know your view whether should he continue to hold this stock or sell and move to some different counter or different sector as well.
But I think he should continue to hold and maybe add at every decline, because while the stock has seen, some short-term weakness, mainly due to the fact that income tax benefits have been withdrawn from, high value insurance policies, there is considerable growth in the protection business, both in terms of group protection as well as individual protection. And I think going forward, the underwriting losses are getting minimized. The company is becoming a lot more stronger financially, and you will see significant growth coming in. This particular industry is at a inflection point, and we should see it growing, significantly over even the next 5 to 10 years. So stay invested. HDFC Life is one of the better companies, insurance companies in the space, and attractively valued. So this is the time to accumulate the stock.
Okay, Rajesh, we have Namita who wants to know whether they can buy Suzlon currently, and also Questcorp. What is the view on both these stocks for a time period of 1 year? Should they look to enter both these right now?
So Suzlon managed to give breakout of its a long consolidation. If you analyze the yearly as well as on the monthly chart, stock has managed to give breakout of long consolidation. Looking at the overall structure for Suzlon, now stock is comfortably holding about to 38 level. That is the major, breakout level on the stock for long-term perspective. So if its stock holds above 38, yes, possible upside target we can see in towards 48 to 55 kind of level in Suzlon. So if we wish to hold the position for 1 year kind of time frame, yes, hold. As the structure has turned on the bullish side, 38 should be your stop loss. 55 is the immediate target, and if it crosses those level, then possible next target we can see towards 65 to 70 also. But in Questcorp, still stock is struggling to cross its major supply zone that is placed at around 540, 550 zone. Until the stock not crosses those level, we may see some more consolidation in the stock, and possible already stock is trading in very narrow price range since last couple of months. So 550 is the major breakout level on the near term short term perspective. If it happens, then yes, this rally can extend towards 600 to 620 also. So at this moment, if he's already holding in Questcorp, keep your stop loss at around 490. You can add more position if it crosses above 550. Then possible rally we can see in very short period of time towards 600 also.
The next query is from Vinod Marar, and it's on two counters. Kirloskar Ferris, he's holding 525 shares, bought at a price of 125, and Himadri Speciality, 500 shares again, bought at a price of 45. Lancelot, what would be your view on these two counters?
I think, while Kirloskar Ferris has done well recently, but one look at it, this business is a commodity-based business, and it has at the higher end of the cycle. So I think one should not really add more at this time. If you're in profit, one can look at booking profits. But Himadri Speciality is in a long-term bull phase. It is benefiting from the specialty chemicals that it is introducing. There is some significant capex that will come in on stream over the next 18 months. and that should significantly boost its the company's top line and bottom line. So I think Himadri still offers an opportunity to buy and hold. Over the long term, one should get better appreciation from Himadri.
Okay, Rajesh, we have Dasaradi from Vijayawada who wants to know in terms of Dalmia Bharat. They're holding 50 shares at a price of 2,200 rupees. Should they continue to hold this or look to sell? What is the 1-year target that they could keep?
I think overall structure for Dalmia Bharat is in bullish trajectory if we analyze the longer term time frame. Since last couple of months, some consolidation, some corrective move has taken place, but still stock is holding the ground. The major support zone on the longer term time frame, that is at around 1950. Until the stock not breaks below 1950 level, I think one should hold the position. On the higher side, 2200 is the major supply zone. Once stock crosses about 2200, yes, there could be another round of rally we can see, and then possible target on the higher side we can see towards 2400, even 2450 kind of level also. So at this moment, our advice would be to hold the position with stop loss of 1950.
Okay, on that note, let's get started with the rapid fire round then. And Lancelot, let's start with the first query for you. Oriental Aromat, the viewer Raju has bought at 390 rupees. What should they do? Continue to hold, sell?
Yes, I think continue to hold. The company will actually turn around and give some better results. So continue to hold.
The next query is from Amit and it's on India Cement and SpiceJet. He's looking to buy. Rajesh, what's your view here?
I think India Cement buy with stop loss of 225. SpiceJet, I would say avoid.
Ujjal has bought 4,000 shares of Dhanlakshmi Bank at 55 rupees per share. What should they do with this now, Lancelot?
Well, I would sell, even though it hasn't moved up, but one should sell. There are better opportunities with better risk return ratios.
Next query is from B. Somaya from Chennai. She has Nykaa shares bought at a price of 153. What is the short-term target here, Rajesh?
Yeah, I think he can remain invested as stock is turning bullish. Keep stop loss of 150. Hold your position for upside target of 175.
We have Amit from Mumbai who has Hindustan Zinc and Bata, who wants to know whether it's a good time to buy Hindustan Zinc and Bata India, Lancelot, for the long term.
So I think in Hindustan Zinc I would not buy. Maybe Bata seems to be bottoming out in terms of its financial performance, and with maybe an expected uptick in rural India, better future. So buy into Bata.
The next query is from Amarnath from Bangalore. He's looking to buy Clean Sciences shares for short term. Should he buy this, Rajesh, or any other counter in the chemical space?
I would say I think avoid as stock is in corrective move. I think another stock that we like that is Camlin Fine, he can look to buy compared to Clean Sciences.
Lancelot, we have the viewer Rajamani who is holding Ashok Leyland, average price 170 rupees. Continue to hold or exit?
Continue to hold.
The next query is from JK Lahoti from Delhi. He is holding around 100 shares of Action Construction Equipment, that is ACE. Should he continue to hold this, Rajesh?
Yeah, definitely he can hold. Overall structure is bullish. Trail stop loss now at around 1440. Possible target 1550, 1600 we can see.
Okay, and lastly, one query. This is coming in on Jyoti Labs. Lancelot, what's the view on Jyoti Labs? Can one look to enter right now? Sudha wants to know.
No, I think one should not enter at this point in time.
Okay, and that was the last query for today. So thank you so much, Rajesh, as well as Lancelot, for joining in with us this Saturday on this special edition of Buy Now Sell Now, as well as a special trading session which is going on as well. But viewers, with that, we are absolutely out of time on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. Don't go anywhere. The second session of the markets will start at 11:30. Plus, we do have a special show lined up for you all as well.